Okay, hi. I'm messing around with a few different things, and so bear with me because I want to check something. Okay, cool. Um, so I'm gonna try one thing that I haven't done before, which is to share some video and play it. I think if I do this, I don't have to mute my mic. I don't think anyone's watching this yet, so I might play it again. Um,
She has to have teeth because my nostrils are too big. No, dude. I can't breathe. I'm getting dizzy.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's so funny. Okay, so then the other thing that I'm doing is I have a I made a meeting on this site that my friend told me about. I'm going to put it in the chat, and you can, if you want to help me test this out, you can click on that link and join this meeting. And if you want to talk on the stream, I'm going to try and see if that works. But, oh crap. I wonder if that desktop audio played through. I can't remember. Okay, so I have somebody watching right now, right? So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna play this again. This is my test.
Look like a bunny rabbit, but I feel like
Hold on.
She has to have teeth because my nostrils are too big. No, dude. I can't breathe. I'm getting dizzy.
That's so fucking funny. Oh my god. That's so funny. My daughter showed me that right before I started, so okay, I'm gonna play this song for you guys. It's one of my friends. I've been going out to a bunch of shows lately, and I've been going to see this band, and they're freaking awesome. Okay, sweet. Um, that's awesome. So I love that song. I love that band. They're great people. So that's one of the bands I've been going out to see in Salt Lake a lot lately, and I just wanted to play something that would let me do some checks of my audio on the stream and sharing stuff. My transitions are all wonky. I made everything super simple setup tonight. Um, but thank you if you're watching this. I appreciate you checking this out. I've been doing streams all week, just trying to uh, get this figured out using OBS, and I kept it so simple. But I just wanted to make sure I was keeping up with these, like doing them every night, so I don't get lazy about it. And hey, CJ, thanks for being here again. You're awesome. You're four out of four. So, I ended up having a good stream last night. I think my friend Mark was in the chat because CJ went to sleep early. Um, so I did have one person in my chat last night, and yeah, if you want to come on that meeting room, Mark helped me find Jitsi, so there's a link for this meeting room I have set up in the chat, and if you want to participate, come on and talk. I wanted to talk a little bit about just I think the first stream I did, CG mentioned he's starting a new chapter in his life, and you know, I'm starting a new chapter in my life this last year. Everything's been in my world has been completely flipped upside down, but then, you know, ended up getting back into the groove of things. And so it's interesting when you get everything in your world all shook up, but then you realize, hey, this was all right. I survived it. The song that I played just now, New Wise by Ginger and the Gents, based out of Salt Lake City. So how is my audio? Because somebody just texted me that it sounds inaudibly quiet. Anyways, I listened to it play from my phone and it sounded okay, but I could work on my sound settings here real quick. So anyway, I don't want to peek too much. So yeah, if you want to join CJ, come on in and we'll try out this Jitsi because I've never used that at all. Anyway, this is my attempt at starting to do these streams again, and the thumbnail that I picked I thought was really funny. I saw it on a Facebook ad for Masterclass. You can connect with anyone learning CIA proven tactics to build better relationships. I thought that was hilarious. The song I played was a song that I listened to a lot on YouTube before I started going out to their shows again. And this was the end of last year when I was just in the throes of getting dumped and struggling hard. And suddenly I wanted to get out of hermit mode, and so here I'm going to bring in, I'm going to figure out how to do this right. Okay, hi CJ. I'm going to keep you muted for a second. And thank you so much for helping me try this out. I'm just going to flip my screen here. Let's see. One second. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Hi. I've got your mic up on the stream, I think.
Okay, yeah, it's cool to test that out. That's pretty advanced. I've never tried like having different guests on on a stream, so I don't even know how to do that.
I didn't know how to do it until this afternoon, well, this evening, and my friend Mark was helpful because he was he made some suggestions for this Jitsi as the meeting room because it's free. You just have to have Google. And then I'm just figuring out simple ways to bring up my sources to because I only wanted to build one scene.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was trying to figure out all this stuff. So my friend texted me. He was watching for a second, but he said the audio was really low on the stream. So, I'm just trying to figure out all these little
Yeah,
things.
yeah, I was gonna say that um I I usually have like the last few days I've been watching your stream on my phone, and so for some reason, like generally my phone volume can go higher, but when I was watching I was starting to watch your stream from yesterday since I fell asleep on my laptop, and it was kind of low, but and that happens for some reason with some YouTube videos. Like if the audio's low, it's like on my laptop it is kind of hard to hear, but on my phone, I can if I turn the volume up, it usually is like loud enough. Or if I use like headphones on with my laptop. But I've noticed that with some YouTube videos in general, and I'm not
Okay.
sure how to fix it either because I think when I've streamed sometimes like it's like that too. Like so, I'm really not sure how to change that. It's like sometimes it just comes in quieter than other times, and I'm really not sure why.
I'll just have to see. I'm not much of a technical person whatsoever, but I was looking at my little audio mixer and I was trying to keep everything kind of right in the middle. So I just bumped everything up just a little bit, and I'm going to try and avoid like peaking it because I don't want it to be too loud.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but cool, yeah. And these are all the things I'm trying to test out because I when I was doing my old streams uh, previously, I was just doing straight off of YouTube with like a Chromebook built-in camera, and like
Mm-hmm.
so it was exciting for me to get a new computer. It's not anything fancy, but yeah, I was excited because I could play around with OBS for the first time, and it's actually pretty intuitive. I mean, there's a lot of bells and whistles on it though, so I just kept this super simple setup for now. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on to say hi because I was just saying like talking about new chapters and everything like that. I played a song from my friend's band, and was something that really helped me out. Like when I was really bummed out, you know, you listen to music when you're bummed out, and you listen to other kinds of music when you're, you know, not bummed out.
Mm.
Most of their songs are not like that. They're more like rock and roll kind of stuff. But that song in particular, it just hit me really. It was it was one of the things that helped me like mourn my my loss at the time, and then like I started to go to their shows when I was starting to feel a little bit better and get out of my funk. And I've gone to like, I don't know, a dozen of their shows this year, and they have a really nice loyal following. And so it's, I always liked to do that when I was younger. Um I'd always go and see local bands. And there's, you know, Salt Lake is pretty small, but we have a fairly decent amount of venues throughout um you know, the valley. So they get to play around different, you know, mostly just bars and stuff. But yeah, it's been pretty chill. I've been getting out, meeting new people, interesting people. So I think music is always good for that, brings people together. And I don't like going to big, um, expensive concerts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
No, that's cool.
but yeah, how have you been?
Oh yeah, I'm doing yeah, I'm doing all right. Yeah, that's cool. I've gone to some smaller like music venues. I used to go to some like cover bands and stuff like that. It's been a while though. I mean that's something that maybe I would I might try to do more in the future. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I caught a little bit of the song. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and listen to it again because it sounded pretty cool. So yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you. I put a link to that video in the description for this show. And they have been together for a long time. That's like their latest. Actually, I don't think that's their latest track that they've released, but that's like the one track that they've filmed. Like, they actually produced like a really nice music video for it, and they filmed it out on a part of the Great Salt Lake where this artist installed, um, it's called the Spiral Jetty. And I've never actually been out there before, but it's this huge artist installation. So if you watch the video, there's all these rocks that are set up in a spiral. And so that's definitely not natural, but it's been out there for a long time. And it's cool that I'm pretty sure they have always done their music production locally. They've got a lot of tracks that they've recorded over the years. So if you find them on YouTube, if you or Spotify, if you search Ginger and the Gents, they have a lot of music, and it's not all that vibe. They're much more like kind of rock and roll, but they're great. They're good people, and they've changed out their drummer like a couple years ago. But I love their new drummer. He's awesome, dude. But yeah, it's fun to see people not only go out and play live pretty regularly, and then they have their their loyal fans, and then they record their music at a local studio. And so it's nice to see people that are supported enough that they can invest in that. And they, you know, the band, they all have to have day jobs and stuff, but they they're still well supported enough to keep them motivated to play, I guess. So that's really nice to see.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, that's pretty cool.
so yeah, I don't know if you had anything that you wanted to talk about. If you just wanted to help me test this out, I'd love to hear your thoughts on things if you want to chat.
Oh, yeah. I don't have anything specific in mind.
All right, you want to stay on a call for a little bit? Or do you just want me to ramble on my own?
I could stay on. I just don't know. I mean, if you have had like any topic in mind, I could, say something. It's just I don't have anything particular in mind right now.
Cool. Well, yeah, I just
Honestly.
wanted to talk about this idea of like new chapters, and this is sort of just carrying on with what I've been talking about this week. And um, a, one of the topics on my mind heavily the last little while is this idea of just, our friendships and our relationships. And um, it's so weird, like, that there's that new replica AI thing. So you can, like, have an AI boyfriend or girlfriend. Have you heard about this?
I think so. Yeah, I haven't followed AI very closely, but I think I've heard of something like that.
I just watched the film Her. Have you seen that before?
I think I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
I watched it the other day, and it's it's just something I've been thinking about, because it's like every people always try and um, get quite hyperbolic about any new thing. And I've always considered, in general, like anything new, like technology, it's a tool. So yeah, things any kind of tool can be used for um, good or bad, right? But it just I've been considering this a lot because I have been more in hermit mode the last year, and since my husband left it last September, I for the first time, like, we've been co-parenting, and he's wanted to be really involved in the kids' lives. So it's been the first time in 10 years that I've ever been alone for any significant amount of time.
Hmm.
And uh, I think that's just really been interesting for me, because, like, I went through all those levels of grief, and it was kind of cyclical. It was like I'd feel like I was getting over it, and then I would go back, you know. It was just like really hard to um for the first few months it was hard to be alone. But I had friends on a Discord server that I would talk to a lot, especially on the weekends, because the kids would be gone last school year. They were primarily with me during the weekdays, and then like every weekend they would go with their dad. And that was freaking weird. It was a weird adjustment. It took me a few months to even want to go out and socialize with people in real life.
Yeah.
And I found it interesting that I had such good connections with people that was just online, but I stopped streaming because I didn't want to get on a stream and just start crying and talking about my divorce,
Hmm.
So I just found other ways to kind of have my catharsis and process things. So, but it's been a whole process, and yeah, this picture that I have. It says connect with anyone, learn CIA proven tactics to build better relationships. It just it just made me think, oh man, like all the dating people on YouTube that give people like all this advice, which I think is pretty bad advice, most of it. And forget about like dating apps. I will never go on those. And it's like I don't even want to really date somebody seriously. Like I'm lucky because can I can pretty much take care of myself. Like I do have a good support system. So it's not like I'm going on a dating app and being like, "Oh, yeah, I'm a single mom and I'm looking for somebody to take care of me and my kids." You know. And so when I've been going out, I'm definitely not looking to like hook up with people necessarily or get into some like serious relationship romantically. But I have been able to make some friends, you know, and that's been a pleasant surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. It's yeah, I think that's pretty smart. I mean, it seems like a lot of people if they're leaving a relationship, it's like a lot of people seem kind of like they don't know how to be single, or they just feel really uncomfortable being single, and so they kind of I guess it's called rebounding or whatever, and they immediately want to try to get into another relationship, but um, it seems like that doesn't go well a lot of the time. If it's done out of just like kind of to fill the void, the avoid the grieving process and all that. Um, yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, probably in a way I was trying to find a rebound thing, but like I was telling myself like I just I wanted connection, but I didn't want to get into something like super super serious, And I was just pleasantly like relieved that I could like just both socialize a little bit more and then also start to enjoy my time alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like everything that's going on in the world these days, like we do have to find solace in ourselves and also learn how to strengthen relationships when things are it's so disconnected. It seems like everybody's fighting on social media and we're distracted and we have to hustle. Like life's hard, it always has been. You have to work hard and pay your bills, but we have so many ways to keep us from, I don't know, like we distract ourselves so easily because we constantly have our devices. Like I used to never watch anything on an actual computer. I'm always on my phone listening to stuff. And so, yeah, I've been definitely guilty of like just this whole thing about um yeah, like trying to find distractions.
Mm.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
So, um yeah, I've been wondering about if people even need like um serious romantic relationships anymore. Like it, because I was talking to a friend earlier on the phone, and it just seems like that's been such a big push our whole lives. Like that's film and these romance stories. And it's like, well, what if you don't want a serious relationship? What if you do just want to be single and you're actually happy being single? But it's if there's still this perception that, like, oh, well, you're doing something wrong if you're not in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been thinking about it like, well, shouldn't that be okay? Like, just because you're not in a romantic relationship, does that mean you're lonely?
Yeah. 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 No, I've It's yeah. It's funny you bring that up. That's like yeah. It's I mean, I like you said, there does still seem to be that stigma. I mean, there's all kinds of there's still kind of that perception that there's some it's a kind of something wrong with someone if they're not in a relationship. And I mean, that's something I kind of had to work through myself, like, cause yeah, I mean, I don't talk about it a lot, but I've actually like never been in a relationship, and I'm actually pretty okay with it. Like when I was younger, I was really confused for a long time about it, and, didn't really know, I mean, yeah, I kind of had those same feelings of like, it seems like it's something you're supposed to do and all that, but I just never really I didn't genuinely feel like it was what I wanted. And I've had kind of a core of like I don't do things just because like other people are doing them. If I didn't feel like it was something I wanted, I didn't want to do that, especially because it would involve someone else's feelings. And then it's like, if I just jump into a relationship just for the because I feel like I'm supposed to. It's like that would be hurting, not just me but someone else also. So it's like, and then I've also wondered whether it was like mental illness because I mean I've struggled with like I've had I was dealing with mental illness since I was like a teenager and had depression for a long time, and of course it's like portrayed that that's the reason why like that I was depressed, and so that's why I didn't like want to be in a relationship. But like, what's funny is I kind of went through kind of a really profound change where I somehow came out of the depression like probably around 2 to 3 years ago, and after like feeling like I was actually like healing from that, I actually felt more comfortable in like that I actually do feel pretty like content being not in romantic relationships. Like I like um connecting with people that I can really relate to, and I'm pretty um selective in a way just because I don't like to pretend. I don't like superficial relation like just friendships like pretending I'm interested in things I'm not interested in either. So it's like but yeah, I mean, I feel pretty, fulfilled, like just having like meeting people that I can relate to on something, whatever it is. Um, and the last year, I've been really involved in the recovery community, um, and that's been pretty cool. Um, Feeling like I'm, able to give back in some way. That's kind of how a lot of recovery communities are set up, and especially because it doesn't require like credentials, because I don't, have like credentials, but I'm able to kind of just like as a peer, having experienced like addiction and or whatever you want to call it, that kind of thing, being able to like help out other people in some way. I mean, that's felt really fulfilling. And oh yeah, and then in the last year, I was also volunteering through the library system here, like read with a reading program with kids, and that was really cool. Um, so things like that, like I like to give back how I can. I feel like I'm able to, and I feel pretty fulfilled doing that.
That's
Um,
awesome.
so yeah.
That's so amazing. Yeah, because, lately who I've been meeting is a lot of men that don't have kids. And like for years and years, I never thought I would have kids, honestly, when I was in my early 20s. And, now, like, I just turned 40 this summer, and I've been having some conversations with a couple people, and, like, I I think it's fine. It's not like your life's purpose to do whatever this one kind of aspect of society tells you to do. But I think that's so great that there's people out there that do have, fulfillment and have a desire to not only change themselves, but like support others that have been in their place, and the whole the whole idea of credentialing in our world, I think it's pretty crappy. Like, I quit college to work in the field that I had interest in. And, a lot of my friends would give me crap about it. And I always have gotten crap because I didn't want to go along with whatever. I just found my own way of getting by and finding fulfillment. And, I think even sometimes I get a little self conscious about that. But then I see other people that it's like, oh, we're all in the same boat. Like, we all have these same thoughts. But I think, yeah, there's always going to be stigmas. And it's what's so frustrating for me to, like, we were told growing up in, like, the 90s, you can be whatever you want to be. And then it seems now it came with a qualifier. It's like, you can be whatever you want to be, but if you weren't born with money, you're never going to have access to certain things. And they say that there's white privilege, but what's white anyways? Like, it seems like we've just further divided people and put them into their little holes, their corners. And I always thought, when I was young, I was very just naive, and I still am to some degree, but I thought we were getting rid of all this BS, I thought we were moving past it. And it just seems like the culture, it's, and it is, I think it's in big part to the fact that our media landscape, even though it was probably always controlled and steering us towards like one direction, it's like, because they're losing control of the media, because everybody's producing their own stuff on these different platforms now, it's like, so they're really doubling down, it seems. And I find it really interesting because I grew up in a conservative culture. Well, yeah, people drink beer in Utah, man. Like, people always revolt against doing what they're told they're supposed to do. It's like people always go for whatever the stigma is in society because they're like, no, I'm not going along with that. I want to do my own thing. And I'm just grateful to hear that, yeah, people, like, they actually are kind of just individually having their own silent revolts. And they're like, no, I'm not gonna do what I'm supposed to do and work in the rat race. Yeah, we still have to make a living, but it's like, it is interesting that we have all these gig economy things. So, like, even if we don't have credentials or whatever, we can find work that we don't hate so much. It's not like everyone in this one town has to work for the same factory for their entire lives, right? Like people in cities, we have options. We can have flexible work um, that can allow us to kind of pick and choose our schedules a little bit better, maybe, and then go out and do the things that really like nourish us besides just earning money. No, that was never the point of life, was it? To just fucking earn money? Like, and so I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to stay optimistic about the state of the world because, there's a lot of things that suck always, but yeah, I've been just trying to reflect on all these different things. And for one, I think what the great opportunity now in my life personally is having better relationships with myself. um, and I get these breaks away from the kids and I really miss them. But then I realize, I'm getting good rest now. I'm getting in a decent routine in my life, and I'm a better mom because of that. If I have a better relationship with myself, then I'm more capable of having better relationships with others. And like the quality of relationships over just quantity of them is something I've been thinking a lot about in that sense because um, I used to have like few hundred friends on Facebook. Well, who's engaging with you on that platform? It's not meant for like engaging with all those people. And so what does it matter if you just collect a bunch of so-called friends and they're not actually engaging with you? I found myself thinking it was really weird. I was like observing people's lives from afar, but I was never seeing them in real life. Yet some people post like their whole freaking lives on social media, and all the awesome vacations they go on, and that stuff would make me feel bad, even though I knew better. um I would still be like, oh man, am I a lazy mom because I don't take my kids to do all these events every day of the week? But anyway, I think what you were saying, yeah, it really resonated with a lot of the thoughts that I've been having. And it's nice to hear that you're engaged in your community that way. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And you hadn't posted any videos for a while, and then you read tell me more about the last stream that you did. What was the guy's name that wrote about anarchy, what, in the 80s?
Yeah. Yeah, his name is, or I guess the name he goes by at least is Bob Black, and I think he's still alive. I mean, he's probably at least like 60 or something, because yeah, he was writing in the 80s, and um, yeah, I mean, it's his. I really like his style. It's really interesting. Like he really talks about some of his other writings are also like just really about like finding, kind of like what you were just saying about, like, the purpose of life isn't just having to work and earn money. And he really talks about like how can um people reclaim like life, and reclaim things that make them feel joyful, or things that they really want to do, and not things that they feel like they have to do. And that, yeah, work ideally can be integrated into life, not be a source of like stress and all that.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome. I like the way you said that.
Yeah. I hadn't posted in a while. I just kind of got to a point where I wasn't like I didn't have that many ideas, and I didn't want to like I just didn't have a ton that I wanted to talk about. I was like I said, I was kind of like just involved in the recovery stuff, doing a lot of service, as they call it, just like hosting meetings and stuff like that for like the last year or so, almost year and a half. Because I found like a new community. Because I mean, I'm sure you've heard of AA. That's kind of like the the most popular like type of peer support, addiction recovery type group. But I found this other kind of fellowship, if you want to call it, like a type of group that's kind of based around Buddhist teachings, which
Oh.
so that's a little different, and it's pretty new. Like it's only been around for like 4 or 5 years, and so I was pretty, I felt pretty like inspired to get involved with that because I had been studying like Buddhism for a little bit or for a couple of years now, and we kind of got into a lot of the I could relate to a lot of the teachings in Buddhism, and then I found that group, so I was like, that's a good opportunity because um, I have like kind of a I don't like AA as much, I just don't like their approach as much for different reasons. So I kind of was in a place where I didn't really want to I didn't want to be like really involved with AA, even though I still was involved in some of their those meetings. But overall, like I didn't like their framework as much, and so I was kind of in that place of like um. So yeah, I guess that's kind of what had happened with that.
Well, I'm really excited to hear more about that. Maybe we can figure out a time if you're willing to do a whole stream talking about that because I from the outside um I never really vibed with AA. Not I mean, I think the fellowship, as you said, and uh you know, facing addictions and everything, I felt always felt that was important, but I did have my outside judgments of like the premise. This in particular, my judgment was that you have a disease, and I don't know, maybe one day we can talk a little bit about your program that you've been working with, just because that's interesting, and I think that's really important that people have support and that they have options. So it's nice to see that you had that opportunity to find something that, you know, really works for you, that you can also be motivated enough to be there and want to participate because it worked for you. So you want to help others go through it. And I can't say I know too much about Buddhism either. So I'd be interested in maybe dedicating an hour some other time if you want to come on and talk to me about that a little more.
Sure, yeah, definitely.
Cool. I think that's awesome because that's one thing. Like, I had been kind of party crazy when I was younger, and then I just got to a point where I was like, oh well, I don't need to drink or party or whatever. One of the things was it's I could never handle it, so I'd always feel sick and terrible the next day. I'd always be hungover, and it was expensive, you know.
Yeah.
But I did have to come to grips with the fact that, like, even if I didn't drink for weeks and weeks or months, if like I did go out, it was like I couldn't figure out how to stop once I started, you know. And so I never went into any kind of recovery process, but I finally figured out that for me, I could like get to a place where I could enjoy a drink or two and be cool with it. And then, that's been my big challenge going out to bars to see live music was making sure that I didn't get myself into my 20s era partying, you know? But I definitely had to deal with some of my other demons that I think fed that behavior. I just had so many other self-sabotaging behaviors that had nothing to do with like substances at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think now that's more important than ever because just the way everything that's, I say online, but it's just like everywhere in our lives, there's just so much hyperbole. And I think that's something, that stress and people like fighting all the time, getting so worked up about everything. I feel like that's a huge motivation for people trying to escape, and that's what substances become. It's like it's just an escape, trying to numb that crap. But I appreciate that you were saying that, the life's purpose is not to work and be stressed out. And that is our great opportunity now, I think, is to call it harmony or balance in life, so that we don't need to escape our lives because we enjoy our lives. So cool. I am going to wrap up this meeting because I want to say just a few things before I end the stream, but I can't believe this already went a whole hour. My whole total show time. So thank you so much for helping me test this out, and I'll start playing with the audio. Because you are soft spoken, so I was trying to adjust the audio that's coming through for you, and I think that sounded pretty good.
Okay, yeah, it kind of takes some trying different things. But yeah, it's kind of how it is with tech.
Yeah. And luckily, I have some friends that are willing to help me out with it. I've just been trying to be motivated to get on and just try these again because it is cathartic for me. It really helped me a couple years ago when I started doing them. And even though I didn't really want to do them while I was in the throes of like my marriage ending, I found a lot of other means of processing that stuff. I started to paint a lot more again and journal and a lot of different things that helped me get through, and I feel like I'm in a really good place now. So it's great that you showed back up when you did just a couple weeks ago, because I saw the notification, and it was one of those things. I was like, oh man, I haven't talked to him for so long. And it just sort of shocked my system to be like, oh, I have been thinking about things I want to talk about. And so yeah, I'm just so grateful that you've been coming onto these streams. That's been a real boost for me to have you just saying hi in the chat. I really appreciate it. So thanks for helping me test this thing out. And you reach out to me directly anytime, and I'll reach out to you too, just to see. I'd like some more details about that group that you're working with. So if there's things you don't want to talk about on a stream, if you don't want to say to whatever, however you want to go about it. But yeah, anything that you might be willing to share out on a stream, I think that would be amazing to hear your perspective. So
Yeah, for sure.
awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I get to go ahead and hang up the from the meeting.
Okay, awesome. Have a great night.
You too.
Okay,
Good
bye.
night.
Sweet. That's awesome. I'm so excited to hear that, I just keep kind of having a lot of similar conversations with people, and it's like it's so affirming when you are having thoughts about something and then you meet somebody else and it's like, oh, I'm not the only one, thank goodness. you know um but yeah, I'm just so grateful for so many things, even though stuff's been tough. But for one thing, I I wanted to just complain a little bit about the fact that, like, there's some bad info out there about like relationship advice. I just think it's really unfair. I think the burden on men has been particularly unfair over the years. Like, I always thought this even before I got married, because I thought, and I'm grateful I've always been able to have opportunities to work. It's not like I'm anti women working. Okay, but what percolates up to the surface is always these extreme views from one side or the other. And I just don't think that's very helpful when there's so much nuance needed in conversations. And I just felt it was so unfair to think that, well, um, yes, we'll let women have equality and we'll let them work, but then it wasn't balanced. It wasn't actually equality, because you'd still have women expecting the men to do everything. And, just some of these perspectives, I think, are just not helpful. It's dividing us even more. And I've always had a lot more guy friends just by number, because I worked in broadcasting. It was like 99% guys on my crews. And I just always appreciated that, like, there were so many great things about the way that guys would seem to approach things differently than women. And um, it's just fun to talk to different kinds of people and realize, oh yeah, like, we're not defined by all these like freaking stereotypes. We're more than just that. But anyway, I'm trying to learn how to articulate myself. I'm just kind of going with this flow and trying to get that the inspiration from everywhere. So I wanted to share Ginger and the Gents, who they're great people. They have great music, and for me personally, they helped me a lot just getting through my shit. And we all need that. And one of the best things that I have in my life right now, besides my awesome kids and family support and everything, is just my job is so relaxing and chill most of the time. It also forces me to get out into the different weather temperature, deal with like um, the hot, the cold, the rain, the snow, the wind. And then when there's just a gorgeous, beautiful day, I'm just like, I'm so grateful that I can be out there and appreciate it and listen to good music, listen to interesting podcasts. I'm still on a kick listening to a ton of Bruce McDonald, and I know he's not for everybody, and people are going to have a hard time with his takes, and I am just still on this mission of like trying to find different perspectives, even the ones that make me uncomfortable. And sometimes when I go out, I find it really uncomfortable for people to like flirt with me or ask me out. Like, it's weird. I just have this kind of like this defense against it. And it's not that I don't want, you know, I appreciate it. Like, I don't want to sound like, oh, people think I'm cute and they ask me out all the time and it's annoying. It's like, no, I appreciate it, but what I'm trying to do is be honest with people when I go out, that like I'm not looking for something super serious, but I do appreciate the connections. And it's not that like I want to just go and hook up with a bunch of people and be slutty. Like, I definitely don't want to be like that at all. I just watched The Ninth Gate, and I've been thinking about this quote all week: is "My orgy days are over." It's the line from that film. But I never had those days. Really. But yeah, as it seems like society is just getting ridiculous, and maybe this is Rome collapsing, and things are just moving into like hedonism and debauchery. It's like I'm still clinging onto hope that there can be just some kind of really, good relationships, but without all the bullshit attached to them. And not going out just because like you're lonely, and thinking, well, I need to find the person that checks all these boxes, and having these really ridiculous expectations for other people. Because I know when I married my husband, it was because he made me laugh, and he didn't put a lot of pressure on me, and I didn't want to put a lot of pressure on him. And however it was for him that made him want to leave the relationship, like, I'm still grateful to him for I think from my perspective, we had a lot of good times together. And maybe it was the end of it for us, but it wasn't always bad, and some things, maybe they just need to end. It doesn't mean it was a terrible relationship just because it ended. So I think it's just been interesting for me to reflect on all this stuff, and especially just being able to come out of it like okay, and still have love for him as a person, and be happy for him and what he's doing in his life, even though it hurt my feelings and everything like that. It was devastating. But I think it's the same with like rejection. If someone asks you out, or shows interest in you, I think it's okay to just be honest and say, well, can we please just be friends right now? This is all that I can deal with is a friend. but who knows? Like, I just hope that we don't always base our relationships on like these crazy expectations and having one person be everything for us. I think it's really important that we have um, our own interests and things that fulfill us, and I don't necessarily think that means that you have to have some partner to do that, and that you're less than because you're not, you know, you're not in one of those movie romance relationships. So I think I'm going to cut this off. Thank you so much, CJ, for helping me test that out. Thank you, Mark, for giving me the link to that meeting room. That was awesome. Just because this is so funny, I want to play this one more time.
She has to have teeth because my nostrils are too big. No.
Oh my god, so funny. Alright, I'm gonna play this song once more too.
For a time we must leave. In dreams we are stirring. Sweet slumber to prepare us for the change that is occurring. Oh yeah. Good times they come. Good times they go. When a hard time comes, I hope you know you're not alone. I see in you what makes you run.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks, Ginger and the Gents. You guys are amazing. All right. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all the help I got in troubleshooting some stuff with this new setup, and I'll probably be back. Might go out tomorrow night. I don't know. The kids go with their dad tomorrow after school in the evening, so I'll catch you soon. Thanks.